Okay, so how do you buy a brand new Tesla? Yeah, one of the most popular cars in the world, for less than you probably pay for your streaming services combined. I know, it sounds absolutely nuts, but one vlogger claims he did it, and he's got the numbers to prove it. Today, we're gonna break down exactly how he pulled it off.
Just look at that number, $78.39 a month. It just seems totally made up, doesn't it? For a car that starts at 35 grand, getting it for just 78 bucks a month feels impossible.
So yeah, how on earth is this even possible? We are gonna follow this entire journey, starting from what was basically just a guy messing around on the Tesla website, all the way to the pretty clever financial strategy that made this unbelievable number a reality. You know, the craziest part about this whole story is that it started with absolutely zero intention of actually buying a car. It began the same way a lot of us do it, just playing around with the car configurator online late at night. And this quote right here, it just says it all. The vlogger, Stephan, was just, window shopping online, seeing what kind of cool car he could build. It's such a relatable way to start a story that, believe me, snowballed into something way, way bigger. Okay, so here's how it went down. The car starts at that famous $35,000 base price, but then for just $2,000 more, you get the standard range plus. More range, a nicer interior. It just feels like a no-brainer. Then, of course, you gotta add the autopilot for another $3,000, and boom, just like that, a $35,000 car is now a $40,000 car. Now, I know what you're thinking. Classic bait and switch. And honestly, he thought so too. But the price on the website showed something totally different after estimated savings. And that, my friends, is where our story takes a very interesting turn. So this is where that big sticker price really starts to get whittled down. The first huge chunk of savings comes from government incentives, something that's actually available to a lot of people buying electric cars. You can see the impact right away. That $40,000 price tag gets hit with a $3,750 federal tax credit. Then, because he bought it in California, another $2,500 state rebate gets tacked on. All of a sudden, the actual cost of the car is down below $34,000. Now, this is a really important point. Tesla's website tries to lower the price even more by showing you estimated gas savings over 6 years. But to keep things real, our guy decided to only focus on the actual hard cash he'd get back, the tax credits and the rebates. And this right here, this was the turning point. When he saw that the real-world cost for a brand new Tesla with autopilot was just a little over $33,000, that just-for-fun browsing session became a very real, very impulsive purchase. He just clicked buy.
And you gotta understand, the buying experience itself was a huge, huge part of this. He said it was as easy as ordering something on Amazon. Think about it. No driving around to dealerships, no spending hours haggling, no one trying to upsell you on rust-proofing, no annoying follow-up calls, nope. Just a simple online purchase that took a few minutes. Okay, so the car's on order, but we all know buying a car is about more than just the sticker price, right? What was the actual real cash that had to leave his bank account in that first year? So before we throw any more numbers at you, let's just define this term right here, initial out-of-pocket cost. This is the real money you have to pay up front just to get the car. It's totally separate from any financing. And for him, that number was just over $4,400. That covered everything: sales tax, license, registration. That was all the cash he needed to physically get the keys in his hand. But hold on, here's where it gets a little weird. He decided to finance 100% of the car, and at a pretty good interest rate. That meant his monthly payment was $640. So let's be super clear. We've gone from a dream price to a very real, very normal $640 car payment. So this is the big question, isn't it? We're staring at a $640 monthly payment. How in the world do you get from that all the way down to 78 bucks? Well, this is where the real strategy kicks in. And here it is, the secret sauce. The one thing that makes this whole calculation work. The car wasn't just for personal use. It was a business vehicle. I really can't stress this enough. This one decision is the absolute linchpin of the entire thing. By using the car for his business, he opened up a whole world of tax write-offs that a normal person just can't get. Okay, so this is where the real magic happens. As a business expense, he could write off all the interest on the loan, all those initial taxes and fees, and even the car's depreciation. That's the value it loses in the first year. Add it all up, and it created a massive $14,000 deduction.
Now, a deduction isn't cash in your pocket. It just lowers your taxable income. But for him, that 14 grand deduction meant he saved almost $5,000 in actual taxes. That's real money he didn't have to send to the government.
All right, we've got all the pieces on the board, the upfront costs, those monthly payments, the rebates, and those super important tax savings. It's time to put it all together and see if the math really adds up. Let's walk through this together. First, you take the total cash he spent in year one. That's the initial out-of-pocket cost plus 12 months of car payments, which comes out to just over $12,000. Now from that, we start subtracting all the money that came back to him, the federal tax credit, the California rebate, and those business tax savings. When you subtract all of that, his real effective net cost for the entire year was just $941. And here it is, the final reveal. You take that net annual cost of $941.01, you divide it by 12 months, and boom, there it is, $78.39 a month. The math actually works. But, he actually takes it a step further. He argues that it's pretty much a free car, and his logic is interesting. He says most of his $640 payment is just building equity in an asset. Plus, by financing the car at a low rate, he keeps his cash free to invest in other things that could earn him a way better return. It's a pretty fascinating way to think about using debt as a financial tool. And all of this leaves us with one last big question. Now, this was obviously a very unique situation, right? It was a perfect storm of government incentives and a specific business use strategy. But it does make you wonder, what other impossible purchases out there are actually achievable if you just find the right financial strategy?